Hi, everybody. Well, let me tell you something. I got delayed hours getting off my cruise ship at the terminal there in California. And I had my flight delayed 3 times. Yet I still made it back to Ottawa before my scheduled time originally to arrive. How is that possible? So yeah, that was a very interesting day Saturday. Started off with delayed getting off the ship, then being stuck in a terminal while I watched about 4,000 people walk past me, go through border control, and then they let the rest of us go through who had a foreign passport, which delayed me hours getting out of the terminal. And while that was happening, I was on I got onto my bus for my transfer, knowing I'm already having hours. But during this time, I wasn't panicked because my flight that was supposed to leave at 1:30 got delayed till 2:30, then till 3 o'clock, and then till 5 o'clock. And so I said I had lots of time anyway. No panic for me to make my flight. However, now that I was leaving at 5 o'clock, by the time I arrived to Toronto to connect my flight to Ottawa, my flight would have already left by a half hour. And I was scheduled to get back into Ottawa at 1:30 in the morning. So yeah, I was saying, well, now I'm going to be stuck at the terminal in Toronto overnight. There's a hotel there, but that would mean I would have to leave the airport, go back into find my way out, get the hotel if there's a room available, and then I'm going to have to get, my scheduled flight would probably be for like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. the next morning. And so, by the time I was arriving in Toronto, it was 12:30 at night. So by the time I got to a hotel and then I would have to go back through security in Toronto, I'm going to get a hotel for 2.5 hours, 3 hours? Probably not. So I'd probably just stick it out in the terminal overnight. It was going to be a horrible day. And as I was trying to contemplate what was going to happen and trying to figure out the times in my head, how close it would be to catching the flight, and I kept getting these calls from unknown caller. And I never pick up unknown caller, and they weren't leaving any messages. And then finally I got a call saying that it was from California. But it just said California. It didn't say anything on it. No name, no nothing. So again, these are normally, scammers or spam or whatever, or if it's a client, I'm on a bus, it's noisy, I can't really answer because I wouldn't be able to hear them. So I didn't answer, but they left a voicemail. Lo and behold, it was Air Canada trying to reach me. And they said, hey, there's a flight leaving earlier and we have a seat available for you if you want it. Please give us a call, contact us. Well, I'm on a noisy bus. They said to call the customer service line and they would transfer them to there. I didn't know the customer service line and it was a 45-minute drive to the airport. So I just said, okay, I'll wait till I get to the airport, see what happens. And so arrived at the airport, picked up my suitcase, walked over, and there was nobody in the priority boarding. Remember, I have very high status with Air Canada. It's what they call the super elite, over the 100K traveling a year kind of thing. And so I walk up and I said, hi, is there a concierge desk here? And they go, that's any one of us. They said, all 3 of us over here in this area. I said, oh, apparently somebody's trying to reach me. They said, oh, you must be Mr. Terrace. I said, well, yes, I am. They said, well, would you like that seat? And the first thing I said to myself, I booked business class, and if I go into economy, am I going to get a refund? And if I'm in economy, am I in a middle seat? Is it worth it for me? I hate traveling in a middle seat. It's my worst flight experience I can get. And so I'm sitting there and I'm going, I said, well, is it a business class seat? And they said, well, yes, it is. I said, oh, okay, sure. Of course I would love to take an earlier flight. So they adjusted my flights, took my suitcases, gave me a new flight out of Toronto to Ottawa, and then escorted me up to security to make sure the line wasn't too long. Remember, there's a shutdown right now, and in some airports, there's a huge delay going through, just like I just had at the cruise terminal. Maybe that was happening at the airport. It is LAX, after all, a super busy airport. Well, she walked me up, but lo and behold, there really wasn't a big line up there at security. There was no problem. But she walked me up to the line anyway, and I think I cut in front of about 15 people that she put me through this priority line. I kind of looked back and sorry, I felt really bad. I was willing to go get in line and everything. She said, no, go this way. And so they escorted me right into security. I went through security, no problem. And when I got on the flight, I was delighted to find out the original business class seats I booked were just 2 larger seats, kind of like premium economy, because it's a smaller plane. It's just 2 larger seats instead of 3. So you have a little more elbow room and stuff like that, right? Well, these ones were the lie-down seats. So I kind of got an upgrade. Now, I didn't have my window, but who cares? I just watched movies and sleep a little bit on the plane. I was able to lie back and relax. It was terrific. No problem there. And then I got, lo and behold, back onto my, into Toronto, walked over, and I had a 2-hour wait for my flight to Ottawa, and got on my Ottawa flight. It was 40 minutes in the air, landed, and got back home around 1 a.m. in the morning. Now remember, I wasn't even supposed to land until 1:30 in the morning. So I probably would have got home to my place around 3 in the morning from there. So I actually made it home faster than what I had originally booked, in a more comfortable seat, much better flight experience. And so, yeah, there was only one hiccup. One little hiccup. They unloaded my bag in Toronto. Yeah. For some reason, it got unloaded onto Terminal 9, like on the conveyor belt 9 in Toronto. So that did delay me a little bit. But I know they'll get my suitcase to me at one point. So I'm not too worried about it. They knew where it was. And so I'll probably get it sometime today when I'm filming this, which is the 13th. So yeah, overall, great job, Air Canada. They contacted me, they saved me a seat, they got me home earlier. Sometimes I thank goodness I travel a lot so I can have that status, because it saved me so many times when flights go wrong. And I would hate to lose it, because they actually honestly do take care of me quite well.